Commissioner Hardesty, did you have a question?
I think my questions have been answered. Thank you.
All right.
And I would just also point out, we are going to build a new reconstructed driveway for the property in question on North Sutter Road. It is divided into two lots, and one of the lots has about North Portland Road, but we will be building a reconstructed driveway from the western road to the two properties that are in common ownership.
Great, thank you. So the next step would be to vote on the motion, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, did we amend Exhibit D, the cover memo?
So we had a second, we haven't voted on it.
Okay.
So, Carla, can you call the roll on the amendment?
Fish.
Aye.
Hardesty. Aye. Fritz.
Aye.
Udaly.
Aye. Okay, and this is an emergency ordinance, so we will be taking vote on 41. Carla, can you call the roll?
Fish.
Well, Andrew, thank you once again for structuring a very informative hearing, explaining all the key components, getting broad consensus, and then answering our questions about the two remonstrances. I'm a big fan, as you know, and I wish we had more Andrew Abbeys in local government helping to bring parties together to resolve these kinds of thorny issues. But you do a superb job. You've answered all my questions, and I'm going to vote aye.
Hardesty. Aye. Fritz.
The revised Exhibit D explains why the remonstrances should not be upheld. This is all of the property owners are affected, and that's the essence of what a local improvement district is figuring out what's the appropriate amount for each property owner to pay, what the city's going to contribute, and I believe you got it right. Aye.
Udaly.
Well, thank you, Andrew. This constitutes a great improvement on already great LID, and additional partners sharing the increased costs is also a positive for us. So thank you for your work, and I vote aye. We read those ordinances together, but did we vote on them separately?
Yes.
Okay. The ordinance was passed. Carla, please call the roll on 492.
Fish.
Aye.
Hardesty. Aye. Fritz.
Aye.
Udaly.
Aye. Thank you, the ordinance is passed. So now we are moving to item 496, correct, Commissioner Fish?
Thank you, yes.
Yes, okay, Carla, please read the item.
496, authorize 2-year grant agreements with 7 youth-serving organizations in support of the Teen Collaborative Initiative not to exceed $560,000 and per grant not to exceed $80,000.
I'm going to turn this over to Aline Argentina for a very brief presentation, and then we're happy to take council questions. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Argentina, Recreation Services Division Manager, Morton Parks and Rec, and the ordinance before you this morning would fund 7 grants under the Morton Parks and Recreation Teen Program's Teen Collaborative Initiative. The grant program is one part of a much larger teen program, but we think it's a really essential part in that the sum we think is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The partnerships have been very valuable in reaching our youth. In 2015, when Council voted to significantly expand the teen program, these grants were a part of it. I think this is the 4th time we brought an ordinance forward for grants. And this year we implemented some changes as we committed to last year when you approved the last batch. We wanted to open it up. Initially, the groups had been selected through a process where Mayor Hales was very involved in identifying how to sort of bring partners together around teen services. This year we had more of an open process. We solicited proposals, and the announcement asked for organizations to describe how they would work with youth on the following areas: leadership and skill development. That included job skills, developing familiarity with local services, including our own, access to caring adults and positive role models, opportunities to participate in organized sports and other activities. The other 2 areas were in academic support as well as community building. and an important part of this program is we're trying to really deepen our relationship with these groups so that we can have a greater collective impact on the youth that we're serving, and I think help them to introduce the youth they're working with to Portland Parks and Recreation, to their Parks and Recreation system. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Commissioner Fish. I asked this to be pulled off the consent agenda because I was struck by a couple of things. First, this program was created in 2015 because the Portland Police Bureau reported there was 183 gang shootings. And so I wanted to know what the connection was between youth leadership development and the gang shootings.
Sure, I can answer that. And it's true, at that time, there was a spike in gun violence. There was a lot of concern. And I think the commissioners were concerned, the mayor's office came to Parks and said, I want to do some work to get upstream of this so that we can sort of develop programs for youth that will help them to build resilience and to be engaged in positive activities, but also look for opportunities to have more positive engagement with the police force and other organizations. So we were looking at ways at that time that police could come in for basketball time or those sorts of things. It was really just looking to try to get upstream of some of the things that were occurring at that time.
So that was 2015, that was the vision. And what results do we have based on that vision? I mean, are relationships better between police and 10 to 20-year-olds in the city of Portland today?
I can't say that we have that in a measurable way. We have seen a decrease in the level of youth violence and gun violence, at least I think in terms of what we were observing at that time. I think the results have been, last year we brought a report to council, and I'll make sure that your office gets a copy of that report, where we talked about what's happening with the program. We're serving 40,000 kids a year in our community centers, and this is not just the grant programs, this is our 5 Team Force sites where we have Parks and Recreation permanent staff who are leading programs. So we've had some I think really good results in terms of the number of kids, the number of hours that we're able to serve them, and really just give them a positive place to be with trusted adults.
So I want to be clear, I have a lot of respect for the programs who are being funded through this grant, so it is less about the organizations and more about the accountability that's built into this. All of these organizations serve youth as part of their mission. And how can we be assured that these are distinct youth who are being served specifically around the resources that are being targeted to this specific demographic?
Great question. Each of the applicants had to identify what they were going to do with the funds that would be made available. And the agreements that are set up are going to hold them accountable to those. They vary from program to program or organization to organization, but each grantee will need to provide a report every 6 months over the 2 years of the grants. In addition, we'll be bringing the group together quarterly for meetings, and I'd like to ask Darrell Singleton to speak a little bit about that, because it really comes back to this idea of collectively we're going to be more effective serving kids if we're working together closely.
Good morning, Commissioners. Okay, sorry. Darrell Singleton. I am the Manager of Recreation Strategies and Initiatives. In my portfolio, I include teens as well as the SUN program within Parks. So I sit on the SUN Coordinating Council, as well as overseeing 11 of our SUN schools that are supported and managed through Parks and Recreation. To address Eileen's statement in reference to the connection that we make with the other partners is we wanted to build a collaboration that is supportive throughout. So to your question, Commissioner Hardesty, is the goal is that kids have multiple accesses and research and points that they can connect with different agencies, including Parks. Right now, we do not have that metrics. That's something that we probably could build upon, because what we are doing is we meet quarterly to work together to strategize the best practices and working with these different targeted groups. So in that, if that may, where I'm going with this is, in those quarterly meetings, we sit down, talk about what they're doing. They also provide their levels of reports, how to improve upon that, how we engage in the buildings that we use within parks, what holes that are missing in our systems, working with one of our other partners who also works with in our gang enforcement. So basically, it's different. I don't like the term gang enforcement in this. It's an engagement that kids who get in trouble or have a bad experience have a positive scenario instead of having to deal with the police, and so that they can do a better relationship, build relationships, engage them on not only the negative behavior, but also on the positive behavior. Give them alternatives, give them options. So some of those things that we talk about within visitation, we also talk about resources and referrals. So many of our kids, if we talk through our POIC contract, give referrals for employment, give referrals for different shopping opportunities, give referrals for career development, give referrals on different things like that.
So, thank you for that. You slipped and used the gang enforcement thingamajig, and of course, we're told that that doesn't exist anymore. But
I think you were referring to the street level,
Yeah,
street workers that we contract with through BOIC.
we're not talking.
We're not talking about gangs directly, we're talking about the title that really probably should be changed, because the goal is to encourage kids for positive behaviors.
Yeah, that's a much longer conversation. The conversation today, though, is like you brought up Sun Schools, and I know Sun Schools is funding that is supporting young people and using after-school programs and parks and et cetera, et cetera. So again, my concern is, can you tell me whether you have distinctive young people that are going through this particular program that are not being funded by other programs that are working with supposedly the same demographic of young people? And I'm just feeling like, it sounds like what Parks is doing is the same thing that Sun Schools is doing. And I just want to know if there's something, and I don't want to delay this, but I think this is important info.
Eileen, let me ask you something. We had a report last year. When do we schedule for the next report on outcomes?
We haven't scheduled it yet, but we'd love to.
Commissioner Hardesty, you're entitled to all the information you want, and this seems like a very profitable line of conversation. Would you like us to schedule a follow-up briefing with your office to go a little deeper into this? Frame your questions and concerns, get you some answers ahead of the report?
I'd love to review last year's report, and I would love to have a briefing on where we are at the moment. Because when I see the same organizations being funded over and over again for the same programs, it makes me a little suspicious, and so I would love to have more details about that, yes.
We can do both.
Thank
Can
you.
I just add one thing for the record? This is the fourth time, and in this process, 2 groups that have been funded dropped off, and we brought in 2 new groups, and one of the ones that we think is going to really enhance what we're doing is New Avenues for Youth, and Sexual Minority Youth Resource Center, so they'll be part of this grant program, and that's new for us. We think that will help, as well as Elevate Oregon. So we are looking to make sure that it's not the same groups.
So Eileen, if you could schedule a follow-up briefing for the Commissioner Office, a copy of the report, and let's continue this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Hardesty, thank you for pulling this. I actually suggested to Mayor Wheeler that he pull it. Yeah, it was suggested yesterday that he pull it because I think it's a fantastic program. I'm really proud of the report. I'm glad that you're going to look into it, and I appreciate the fact that Parks has done what they said they were going to do in terms of going out for new people have to prove rather than just getting routinely renewed over and over again.
Is there any testimony?
This was pulled and I didn't have a sign-up sheet.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to testify
I
on
will.
this specific item?
Bob and Meg.
Okay. Mr. West, I'm going to be very firm about keeping your testimony relevant to the item.
Okay.
And the list is closed with the 3 individuals who signaled that to testify. Sir, please come up to the, no, Maggie, this gentleman. Mr. Callahan.
Yeah.
Maggie, I invited Mr. Callahan to the table. You I didn't see you say that you wanted to testify, and I closed the record.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
Me? Oh.
Yes.
I thought you were inviting anyone to come up.
I asked, 3 people signaled, and I closed the record. Mr.
Oh.
Callahan signaled,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I'm inviting Mr. Callahan to be before. So this item, I'm actually going to read the title again. It is to authorize a 2-year grant agreement with agreements with 7 youth-serving organizations in support of the Teen Collaborative Initiative. So your testimony needs to be for or against that and relevant to that item, or I will cut you off. Mr. West, please begin.